365-day-year calendar is the inevitable. John Cena being forced into an early retirement is inevitable, and there is nothing as wrestling fans that we can do to stop it and prevent it from happening. It will happen. It might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow. It might not happen 3 weeks from now. It might not happen 6 months from now. It might not happen until 2018. But it is inevitable, and John Cena will have to suffer the same fate of an Edge, a Stone Cold Steve Austin, and many others who have been forced into an early retirement. Regardless of what circumstances he is forced into this early retirement under, it is the inevitable. It may not happen until 2018, a few years down the road, but regardless of when it happens or under what circumstances, it is inevitable, and we as wrestling fans, radio shows, and columnists can do nothing to prevent this inevitable thing from happening, and it's all because John Cena refuses to slow down and go away for a considerable amount of time. I think the longest amount of time he was gone was from late 2007 until January of 2008. That brought him up to the Royal Rumble and gave WWE an excuse to have him win the Royal Rumble, which was only to put him in the main event for the WWE Championship with Triple H and Randy Orton, which could have been effectively as promoted as just a one-on-one match between Randy Orton and Triple H. They waited a year for Randy Orton and Triple H to have a match for the championship in the main event of WrestleMania 25, the silver anniversary. But did you really have to throw John Cena into the equation, making it a three-way for the WWE title for the Raw main event of WrestleMania 24? I mean, Edge versus Undertaker and Triple H versus Randy Orton would have been far more effective main events to promote on their own. Did John Cena really fit into that equation? I don't think he did, and I don't think he fits into the equation now as world champion. I mean, he was world champion before. It didn't seem at all like he wanted to be world champion. He'd much rather have been the WWE champion, because the WWE championship guarantees you money and main events, and you're the most talked about superstar in the WWE because you're the champion, you're the representative of the company. The World Heavyweight Championship, although it has a lot of prestigiousness affiliated with it, seems to be the B championship, the second-rate championship, if anything. And the WWE, no disrespect for legends who have held that championship, from Harley Race to Sting to Vader over the years, but it seems as if the World Heavyweight Championship, ever since being redistributed in 2002, the WWE version of that championship was just an excuse to have a championship to compete for on another brand, when the WWE Championship remained as your main championship to attain and keep defending and hold on to. It seems as if the World Championship, after years of being competed for in professional wrestling for no matter what organization, has become a second-rate championship, and I think truer words have never been stated about that. The WWE one is the main one. When John Cena was the world champion, it seemed as if he didn't want to be world champion for any minute that he was a world champion. He had a great match with JBL at the Royal Rumble in 2009. By February of that year, he had dropped the championship after winning it the prior November. And then at WrestleMania 25, he wins it back just for the sake and excuse of winning a championship at WrestleMania 25, giving the main event of that year to Triple H and Randy Orton. And of course, another huge main event which was talked about and received a lot of attention, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker for their first of a series of matches at WrestleMania. That, of course, was won by The Undertaker. The WrestleMania 25 match between Michaels and Undertaker, by the way, was good enough to be that year's main event. And of the matches in that series, it was probably the best one, hold for hold. It can only be defined as pure wrestling. So to say that a match between John Cena, Edge, and The Big Show was better than The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, I mean, you would have to be completely nuts to go on your radio shows or write about that in your written column and put over a three-way between three superstars who we have seen wrestle since at least 2006 in about 500 matches. You would have to be completely ludicrous to say that. So I do think that having John Cena back now as the world champion is nothing more than having history repeating itself. And as a radio host and columnist, and more so as a wrestling fan, I concur with the 85% of you to 75% of you, maybe 85 to 90, I don't know. I concur with you when I say that, John Cena being the world champion is completely pointless. It does not need to be happening in 2013. It happened in 2009, a little over 4.5 years ago. It doesn't need to be happening in 2013. It's just a case where history is repeating itself once again for the 500th time, falling into the same category of the authority of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. I mean, we saw this back in 2000, 2001. Do we need to be seeing it in 2013, 12 years after the novelty has worn off? I think the answer to that question is simply no. We don't need to be seeing it. If you want to have authority in the WWE, at least have members of this authority who have never been in a position of power before in the WWE. Even if you have to have John Cena and The Rock be general managers of the show, for Christ's sake, at least it would be different from having history repeating itself for the 500th time. I know it's just to promote Triple H's Blu-ray, Thy Kingdom Come, which is a lot of never-before-seen footage for wrestling fans to check out. I do recommend that, and I want to put that over as the best Triple H DVD or Blu-ray that's ever been released. Great and terrific compilation on his career. There's a preview of that actually on YouTube that I've thrown up on our Facebook wall and on our Twitter for you. For the fans following us on Twitter and who've joined our conversation on Facebook, the over 1,000 of you, I appreciate how they're promoting that, but I think it's been overkill now. It's time to get on with something new. We need a feeling of novelty, and things like John Cena being the world champion and the authority of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, something we saw back in 2001, 2002 when it had a feeling of novelty. This is not the way the WWE needs to be represented, if anything, with how many fantastic new talented superstars that you have. The WWE needs to be represented by new talented superstars, because there is no other way you're going to get it over. Having John Cena win 12 or 13 championships, coming closer than anyone ever has to surpassing the 16 championship reigns of Ric Flair, is just a desperate attempt to put someone over. And how is this creating superstars of the next 5 to 6 years? It's not. It's just putting the same guy over and over and over, and it kind of reverts you back to 2004, 2005, when the same 5 or 6 wrestlers were carrying editions of both Raw and SmackDown. In 2003, 2004, you had superstars like John Cena, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar. In their prime of their careers, they were the representatives of both Ruthless Aggression and the New Talent Initiative. They did a fantastic job promoting WWE, but WWE overkilled their promotion, and they're still doing the same thing for John Cena. Maybe not so much for Randy Orton. This is the first championship opportunity that Randy Orton's had since 2011, and Randy Orton spends the majority of his time now putting over new talent initiative superstars, like he's doing for Daniel Bryan. Both Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton, after many championship matches and one-on-one encounters between them both over the years, are doing nothing but putting over Daniel Bryan. Randy Orton is still keeping with this rhythm of putting over new talent initiative superstars, and John Cena just kind of continuously is putting over himself. And as a wrestling fan, I've become very frustrated and irritated having to watch this be the WWE product. I mean, there's no way that Daniel Bryan can defeat someone like John Cena and Randy Orton in straight-up wrestling matches if they were legitimate matches and wrestling wasn't fake. Yeah, I said it. If wrestling wasn't fake, there'd be no way that Daniel Bryan would be on the same level of a John Cena, Randy Orton, Undertaker, or Triple H. We will never see Triple H versus Daniel Bryan, at least not now. I'm not saying that we'll never see it, period, but at least not now. We need to be seeing matches involving new talent, superstars, and we need to see other superstars besides John Cena pushed. I appreciate the fact that he's back sooner once again than he was speculated to be after a very successful surgery on both his elbow and shoulder, and of course, coming back after this rehab process that he apparently went under. But I'd much rather be seeing the focus on Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan, because it has a feeling of novelty to it. We've only seen it for the last month, but how many times over the years have we seen John Cena be the world champion or a top contender for a major championship in the WWE? It might have a lot to do with the fact that he's granted more wishes than any celebrity from any sports organization or any celebrity, period, for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I have all the respect in the world for John Cena for what he does for different charities and raising issue towards cancer and things like that, but really, if we have 100% of the wrestling fans out there, I would say about 25% of you actually care for John Cena's return. But what I will do is I'll throw this video up for you as an archive on our YouTube channel. I'll tweet it for you in our Twitter archives at Jonathan Clarke 1, and I'll feature it for you on our Facebook page in our recent activities section, so you can give us your opinion on how you feel about John Cena's return. As I just said, if we have 100% of wrestling fans listening to this video blog on YouTube, only about 25% of you actually care for this, but let me know how you feel about it. Facebook.com/HLW Entertainment with over 1,000 subscribers, 18,000 tweets on Twitter at Jonathan Clarke 1, and on YouTube over 20,000 channel views, YouTube.com/Jonathan Clarke 22. Congratulations to John Cena for a very successful surgery, rehab process, and return recently at Hell in a Cell, but honestly, I really don't care for it. I've got some music lined up for you next. Kesha teaming up with will.i.am for Crazy Kids. That's coming at you after the break.
When something takes place in the world of professional wrestling, you know where to go. WrestleZone.com. WrestleZone.com. covering all the latest breaking news daily. Interactive forums where you can chat with thousands of other wrestling fans. Exclusive editorials and audio features by some of today's top wrestling superstars. Exclusive video content, weekly polls, live play-by-play coverage of every WWE and TNA pay-per-view. And now, featuring WrestleZone Radio, live with news, in-depth discussions, debates, and interviews with wrestling's top stars, past and present. When you think wrestling, think WrestleZone. WrestleZone.com.
He considers himself God's gift to wrestling, and millions of his faithful agree. With nearly 4 hours of footage and exclusive commentary and matches, this DVD chronicles Daniels' rise from Chicago's Windy City Wrestling to the Asylum in Nashville, and finally to the top of TNA. TNA Home Video presents Heaven Sent, Hell Bound, the best of Christopher Daniels. Available at most retailers and TNAWrestling.com.
Hey you right there, the one listening to this show. While you're tuning into this broadcast or when you read the news on WrestleZone.com, are you forming opinions of it all? Or do you just agree with everything you see and hear? If you actually have some sort of afterthought, which by the way is normal, we want to know what it is. There are thousands of wrestling fans just like you that simply can't hold their thoughts in either. And they let it all out in our interactive forums. You have a voice, so use it. Simply visit forums.WrestleZone.com. Don't just be active, be reactive in the official WrestleZone.com forums.
For all the latest in mixed martial arts, be sure to visit WrestleZone's sister site, SureDog.com. Complete with daily news, exclusive video, interviews, live radio broadcast, interactive forums, and the very popular Fight Finder with bios and complete match-by-match histories of your favorite fighters. SureDog is the only place you need when it comes to mixed martial arts. Visit SureDog.com today.